Tuesday, you know what that means. We get a visit from one of our favorite people, period. Ron the Car Guy stops by.
Yes, he can.
From Westside Auto Pros, and of course, temperatures starting to fall. In most cases, we can handle the warmer temperatures in the afternoon, Jason, but still gets a little chilly.
It was chilly this morning. You needed some heat on the way to work this morning.
Most definitely, and
absolutely.
That's what we're talking about. But before we talk about that, I want you to read the letter you got, because this is very cool, a follow-up to what we were talking about last week. Now, we were talking about how cold affects your tires.
Exactly, in the tire pressure monitoring system. And Rick Hensley sent me an email. I got it yesterday. And it said, your tip last week about resetting the computer when rotating tires was dead on. Apparently, our local tire shop don't know or care about it. I kept pumping air into the underinflated tire with no change on the indicator. Finally checked it with a tire gauge and figured out what was wrong. I have since changed tire shops. And we had talked about how when tires are rotated on a car, those sensors need to be reset.
Right.
And in Rick's case, the computer, the message on the dash was telling him that, one of the tires, the right rear, was low on air, when in fact his tires had been rotated and that tire was now on the right front, but the computer didn't know that because the sensors weren't reset.
Right.
So it's very important that when your tires are rotated, that whoever rotates them resets those sensors, and I don't think it happens as often as it should, and it creates problems.
Just a reminder, to make you sound smart too, if you go in there and go, hey, I got to rotate my tire, you guys are going to reset the sensors, right?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. And they're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll do that.
But it's always important to be knowledgeable, especially about a vehicle. Something people use every single day, but something that people are using a lot right now is their heater.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we want to talk a little bit about heaters, because we don't want you to be cold, and it's going to get colder. I mean, not immediately, but according to Jason, it is going to happen. And we want to make sure that the performance of it works. And so a couple of things I want to talk about. First off, this is a heater core, and this is actually what's mounted under the dash of your vehicle. It's like a little mini radiator.
That's it, huh?
This is it. I'm a car guy, and I can't believe how these things work and actually warm up the car. But if you look at it really closely here, you see the solid lines going up and down?
Yeah.
Those are actually tubes that antifreeze passes through. Yeah, look at how small those are.
Okay.
Wow.
And that's the thickness of them is what you actually see there. So we're relying on coolant to run through there. And then, of course, there's a fan that blows air across that. The air comes through the fins, and that's what heats up the air that you feel inside your car. So when we talk about these heater cores, it's the tiniest passage on the whole vehicle is in the heater core, and that's why it's important to flush your cooling system and keep the dirt and the debris out of there, because it's going to start to plug up these passages.
Yeah,
and
if a
then
chunk floats through and they get stuck in one of those, it blocks the entire
it blocks that
tube.
entire passage, and you don't have very many there to choose from. And this is typical of a heater core. So it's very important to flush your cooling system, change your coolant. I know a lot of manufacturers are saying the coolant will go 100,000 or 150,000. The physical liquid itself will last that long, but all the debris and the junk that it picks up inside of it is going to be deposited somewhere, and it's going to end up right up in here, plugging up these passages, and the heater don't work.
No, does anybody extract the coolant and clean it and then put it back in? Is there any
Absolutely. Yeah, we recycle coolant all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, we recycle a lot of stuff at our shop, but it's very important to keep the cooling system clean so you don't have a problem with this. These are buried in cars anymore. I mean, they used to be relatively easy, but I mean, $800, $1,000 to put one of these in, and it isn't. I mean, this is aluminum, but I mean, this is less than $100 component. It's all labor.
It's the labor to
You're
get
taking
to
the
it.
dash out. It's the dash. This mounts underneath the dash. But the other item that I want to talk about, which is just as important, is this guy right here. And this is a cabin air filter, which most cars have nowadays, and it actually mounts in front of the heater core. And its job is when the fan blows air, it's like your furnace filter at home. It filters that air and it keeps the dirt and the debris from plugging up the exterior part of the heater core as well. So as this picks up dirt and gets plugged up, then less air can go through the heater core, And so ultimately you have less heat, your car doesn't heat as well. And this is something that typically should be changed, usually every year. I mean, it's
Really?
worth checking them out. Yeah, because it'll, when you think about it, Jason, all the air that blows out of the vents in the summer and in the winter for your air conditioner, your heater, goes through this panel.
Right.
All the air that is keeping you warm or cold comes through here, so it's going to plug up with debris, and it's pulling that air in from outside. So
especially around here with all the farm fields we have, driving in the area, picking up all the debris in the air.
Yep.
But is
road
it-
construction,
There's
the
another one,
dust
yeah.
and the dirt.
Is it as hard to get to that as it is?
No, they make
Okay.
provisions to change it. Some cars are a little more difficult than others. It might take 15, 20 minutes to get to this and change it, but most cars it's relatively easy. We inspect these like when we change oil on a car. There's times we'll open up the compartment to check this out, and it's gone. It plugged up, and someone just
rid of it.
Yeah, cabin filter delete, and of course now you've got all that dirt and debris blowing into your heater core. So I mean,
And these cost about what?
it depends on the vehicle, but these are $20 to $40
Okay.
for the filter. Some of them have like a charcoal activation in them, and they do more. I mean, they take pollen and stuff out. And this particular one, we'll give a plug to FVP,
That's Brian Brown's sponsor.
Brian Brown sponsor,
Yeah.
sprint car driver.
Yeah.
Makes those, but that's the deal with. We want to make sure the coolant's flushed out. We want to make sure that the heater cabin air filter.
That one
is
has
changed.
an airflow arrows just like a furnace filter
Yep,
does.
just like on your house.
It really
Absolutely.
is the same thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's pleated. Yeah. Exactly the same thing. Except they cost more
Of course.
for a smaller component.
Right.
Unless you get a home air filter, Jason, fold it in half and then duct tape it together and then slide
We
it
don't
in
recommend that. But depending on
I'll bet if we looked on Google, we could find a picture where somebody did that.
Oh, yeah, I bet they, yeah.
yeah. But depending on your job, you might be in your car more in your house
That's
sometimes.
true. That's your
Absolutely,
office.
absolutely. Yeah, it isn't miles. It's how long have you been running the air conditioner? You look at like some of our mobile service vans that we have.
Well, those guys will live it in there.
Well, and they don't shut them off.
Yeah.
I mean, they leave it on. It's sitting there idling in the summer with their air conditioning, and it idles in the wintertime. So, cabin air filters certainly plug up, faster on those than anything else.
Right.
Another tip, if you do have a heater core that becomes restricted or plugged, and you're facing a large repair bill to fix that, something you could have the shop try, and this isn't always successful, but it works in some cases. We've had success with it. Is ask them to back flush it, and what that is let's say the coolant normally comes in this tube, flows through and comes out this tube. Well, what we'll do is we'll hook flush equipment up to it, and we'll force coolant through this tube and make it go through backwards. And that way, if there's debris caught like in the top of these fins, there's a possibility it will grab it and actually push it out the other tube and make it function again.
Right.
And you can do that for $100, $150 to do that, as opposed to $800 or $1,000 for a new heater core.
Yeah, you might want to do it now before it gets below zero.
Exactly. If this was like restricted, say a third, you'd have pretty good heat today, because it's in the 20s right now outside.
Right.
But when it's zero,
Yeah.
you need this thing working the way it
Right.
was designed to work.
There you go. All right. So people are
stuff,
having some heating problems with their vehicle. How do they find you?
They can go to westsideautopros.com. Our map and everything there is how to get to us, phone number. Or they can contact me through askronthecarguy.com. We answer all questions.
And they're always putting fun stuff on their Facebook page and tips and other fun caption photos
do
as
that.
well. And we also saw that a very special person named Terry made them banana bread. So I said, you know what? I want banana bread. And guess what?
That's banana
We
bread
have
with
it.
chocolate chips in it.
Yes, please.
That is some of the best banana bread out there.
Ever. So you never know. If you follow Ron on Westside Auto Pros on the Facebook, you never know what might just pop up.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Great as
Thank you.
always.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody,
Thank you.
see you next
Appreciate
week. It is 6:53, and stick around when we come back. We're going to talk about eaten alive